Why do self-employed estate agents fail? I'm today joined by Adam Day, Bossman of EXP, what is considered by many the premier self-employed estate agency model in the UK. Other models are available. Adam, you run the EXP network with over 350 estate agents in your cohort. Why do you have an attrition rate? It's quite obvious, and as do others. Why do some self-employed estate agents fail? Talk to me.
Yeah, attrition is a funny one, isn't it? I think there's a few things. The main one is not taking action. That is the main thing. You know, we've got so much proof of what works with lots and lots of successful agents in their local marketplaces, in their local towns. You know, seeing them take market share, and it's not taking action. It's really just not being consistent, not taking action with the things that work. I think that's fair.
What does work? So is it as simple as doing the stuff that works, but being consistent with it?
Yeah, really, yeah.
Hard work and patience.
Really boring. Everyone thinks there's some sort of silver bullet, and I think there's some people that possibly join that think, well, I can see that X, Y, Z has done so brilliantly well. Yeah. If they can do it, I can do it. And actually what they haven't seen is the hard work that person's put in, and the consistency. It's one of the most boring answers you can give, but it is absolutely down to consistency.
So come on, let's get down to nitty gritty, brass tacks. What do agents need to do? Give me 2 or 3 minutes. What do they need to do? And then we've got the issue of how they be consistent with it. We'll talk about that later in the video. Talk to me.
Letter writing, direct mail, touting, whatever you want to call it. I call it touting, but I'm told not to call it that. Touting is fantastic. But from a hunting perspective, you've got hunting and farming. You talk about farming quite a lot. I'm a bit of a hunter.
There's nothing wrong with hunting as long as you don't cross the streams. So what? So just targeting other agents' properties?
Yeah. Yeah,
as simple as that. Low-hanging fruit.
Lowest hanging fruit you can find.
So that's a letter, that's door knocking, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm not a door knocker. I've never knocked on a door in my life. I know you did it back in the day, but letter writing is that's how I built my entire career. Is letter writing. I was doing letters back in 2001 with my old business. Started it with hats, did it with Easy Property.
But again, we're going to cross the streams here. It's not just writing one letter, is it?
No.
It's a series of letters.
Yeah, it has to be a series of content value-based letters, in my opinion.
Oh, great. So it's not a case of your current agent is shit, come and use us.
No. If you can do that actually, and you will get a response after 7 or 8 weeks. 7 weeks is the sweet spot when you start to get a consistent number of phone calls.
There you go, boys and girls. You learned it. 7 weeks. So you need
7
letters. 8
weeks,
1 a week?
8 weeks, 1 a week, every week. You can't
hand delivered or postage stamp?
Hand delivered is ideal, but you can use a postage stamp if you want, but don't frank it. Don't frank it, for goodness sake. Coloured envelopes, handwritten addresses.
Love coloured envelopes. So put a stamp on it.
Second class stamp, but ideally you want to be walking around the street. So there's an app called Route for Me, Route, the number 4 Me.
Yeah.
You put all the addresses in and it tells you which walking route to take around those addresses.
Really?
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. So
big tip for you boys and girls, if you are going to deliver it by hand, write in pencil by hand.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So it looks like you.
And don't put the homeowner.
No,
ideally you want to, we've had a few people doing they don't put the homeowner, they don't put anything, they just put the address and pop it through because everyone thinks then it's a Valentine's card in February, red envelope at February because it's Valentine's Day and everyone thinks, oh, brilliant, I'm going to get a Valentine's card here.
Okay.
So some people will put Bedford Street resident because then they think it's, a letter from a neighbour who's objecting to
Oh, that's correct. So Bedford Street homeowner, resident, 26 Bedford Street, Bedfordshire.
Yeah, exactly.
Beds 1. Exactly. 1 BED. There you go.
Yeah.
Quick tip for you here, because I'm a firm believer in giving stuff back, is if you are going to send it through the post, put lots of stamps, 5p and 10p ones that make up the equivalent of, because when you get an envelope with lots of stamps on, you're going to open it, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's a very good one. Yeah.
You like that one, don't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I used to do second class. Second class was my, the blue second class stamp.
But then surely that gives a impression that they're second class people.
I don't know. I like the second class stamp. It used to work for me. But I never tried any other methods. We used to do a white.
You're just tight arse, mate.
Well, true. Yeah, that was true at the time. I was only charging 300 quid to sell a house back then.
Well, there you go. Okay, so letters. What else?
So door knocking you can do. So I'm not a massive fan of door knocking myself, but we have seen a lot of success with agents doing, going out door knocking. A really good tip that one of our guys does is he sends 3 letters and then he'll knock on the door. So he knocks on the door after 3 letters. And then introduce himself. Oh, hi, I've been sending you letters the last 2 or 3 weeks.
And you say value-based. What are we talking about? Because it's all very fluffy. Oh, value-based.
Yeah. So I've written letters. I've been using letters since 2001. And the letters are tip number 1, why your house might not have sold with your current agent. Tip number 2, and we've got 6 tips. 6 tips why your house hasn't sold.
Come on, give me some tips. I know you're not giving us the whole letters, but the tips are nice.
So coverage. Are you on Rightmove, Zoopla, social media? Presentation, is your property presented correctly? Who's doing the viewings? Because obviously in the UK we get the seller to do the viewings quite a lot, and that is not the right way to do things, in my opinion. And the 5th one very deliberately lands at week 10 that the property's been on the market, which says, has your property been on the market for too long? Does it need a refresh? 2 months is too long, and lo and behold, they've been on for 10 weeks. So they've read the letter, they've had 5 or 6 letters before that. So it's getting to that week 7 sweet spot. And so at that point, they typically phone you up and say, look, you've been sending me these letters. I'm coming to the end of my contract. I think your letter about it's been on the market too long is probably about right. We're going to take it off. We're going to sack X, Y, Z, and we're going to give it to you in a few weeks' time and refresh the property. And then the final tip is price, basically. So that's the sequence that we go.
Okay, so letters, but consistent letters with a structure behind value-based.
Yeah.
Anything else?
You've got to have a subject line and you've got to have a PS on your letters.
Lovely.
They're the 2 most important parts.
Apart from letters, is there anything else that we should be doing?
Obviously social media, and that's, again, consistency. It's really boring. But the most successful agents say to me that they post every day or 4 to 5 times a week, 6 till 8. We've got one lady who says, I just post every day between 6 and 8. I just post something on my personal page. And she posts a picture of her walking her dogs, or her with a sneak peek, or her with a sold board selfie. Just something about her life being an estate agent and being just a human being in the area. And there's an interesting one, actually. We had a conversation with a guy called Chris Abraham, who was our agent of the year at our Christmas Awards. And he's built his entire business in South Wales on social media. And interestingly, people often ask me, should they post on their personal page or their business page? Well, there's no point posting on a business page when you've got no followers and no likes and nothing to post. So how do you move people from your personal page to your business page? And that is just, you've got to do content on your personal page, little sneak peeks, little, questions about, if you wanted to, which website do you check for properties on, Rightmove, Zoopla, or on the market? That kind of thing. You get a lot of engagement on that. And then to move people over to that other page, you then need to do sneak peeks of properties. Visit my business page for a sneak peek of a property that's coming on the market next week. And that's how you get your users, your personal page followers.
You're laying a trail of crumbs to get them across.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Why is it so important they come across the business page?
Well, he wants to keep his business and his personal life separate.
Okay.
So that's simply why
But
he
you can
does
do that by the way you set the privacy of your posts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, that's just how he's decided to do things. He's got like 4,500 followers on his business page, and he posts about football on his personal page, and he made a conscious decision not to post about football when he first started with EXP, because he supports a certain team, and so he's been very conscious to say, I'm not going to post about football. He now posts about football again on his personal page because he can, business on his business page. But market leader in his local town.
So social media, but again, there's a thread of truth running here, that consistency, just like with the letters. So we've got letters, social media. Anything else?
Networking groups work really well for a lot of our agents. I think
like your BNIs of this world.
Yeah, BNI, and it's pretty brutal, isn't it? BNI, you've got to go there with something to give, either a lead or a person.
Great for sausage. You have a great sausage and bacon fry up though every week.
Yeah, it's 6:30 in the morning though. It's a bit too early for me. It's too early for me. Not a fan of that myself. But yeah, that works really well. BNI meetings, other networking meetings are available as well. So, or create your own. We've got one guy who's created his own. There was no BNI close to him. So he created his own networking group with other business owners in that area.
What, meet down Mackie D's for a sausage and muffin?
Kind of thing,
Food the gods there, mate. Food the gods. Anything else before we go?
I mean, they're the high level sort of, you can do leaflet dropping. We used to do leaflet dropping on busy roads only. So bombard the busy roads every single month. Don't worry about the big estates or trying to cover the whole town. Busy roads, because they'll generate boards. Busy roads, you know what? People want to sell their houses on busy roads quite often because they're on a busy road. So if you're bombarding that busy road, you're going to get instructions, you get boards up. People drive up that busy road, see your board and think, oh, wow, you're really busy.
So would it be fair to say that the ones that fail probably don't do the things you've just mentioned in the last few minutes?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, they're the ones that will
But
struggle.
it's dull, consistent work, hard work, being patient. Is that the next? It's not sexy though, is it?
Not at all. And look, when you join a self-employed model, you have probably come from being a branch manager where you don't have to stuff envelopes. And so actually when you become self-employed, you've got to go back to being the dog's body. You've got to go back to being that person who you were. In 1997, I was doing that. And then when I started my business in 2006, I had to go back to being, you know,
You have to
1997.
you have to put your pride on the shelf.
Yeah, you
Do
do.
do you often see people who have got this chip on the shoulder that they're a branch manager or area manager come in saying, you know, are used to people doing it for them?
I think that's why they don't take action. I think that's why those people who struggle don't take action, is because they feel they're above that level of work, as it were. I think also there's probably an element, because we have home workers, partners, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends. They'll say, you know, my wife used to say to me, "Why are you stuffing envelopes? You own a business now." And I'd say, because this is what generates business. And so if you get those questions from your other half and you start thinking, "Oh yeah, why am I stuffing envelopes?" And again, that sort of those ego metrics are.
Well, your partner should be helping you stuff the bloody envelope, shouldn't
Well, they
they?
should be, yeah. I just say to everyone, thank the lucky stars, you don't have to lick stamps anymore. You've got the sticky ones.
There you go.
Happy
Happy
days.
days. Thank you for your time today, Adam. Exceptional thoughts there. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.